Welcome back. Now, the power crisis is just one of the headaches confronting the governing party, the ANC. Political analyst Ongama Mtimka says the ANC has to abandon a failing strategy and do so quickly. In an opinion piece published today, he says the ANC is racing against time while its process of cleaning itself up is going ahead at a snail's pace. Dr. Mtimka is a lecturer in the Department of History and Political Studies at Nelson Mandela University. He joins us now. Ongama, thank you for being with us, as always. You are discussing ANC leadership here, and I'd love your opinion on the president expected to fly off to Davos in Switzerland when South Africa is experiencing stage 6 rolling blackouts. We've heard the warning that even if the renewable projects that have been approved start now, it could still take 2 years, no major power stations being built. Can he really go and talk South Africa up at this stage?
I think that the power crisis makes South Africa a hard sell, especially for high energy projects, high energy use investment projects. So I think that that's been a problem since the mid-2000s, by the way, since we lost a big aluminium smelter that was designated for Kucha. And since then, there's hardly been, significant investments because of the prohibitive nature of how unreliable our energy supply is. But I think that South Africa is still a good location for investment, especially when looked at in terms of its role as a launchpad into the SADC market. But also there are a lot of things that we have here for accessing for emerging markets, which may not be there elsewhere in the continent. Indeed, that comparative advantage we're losing because of poor leadership and the energy situation, but it's still a sellable country in broad terms. But it's become a lot more urgent to deal with leadership failures.
Sure, and generally you're saying that the ANC has a failed strategy. You talk about the approach, business as usual, that ongoing approach. You're saying the president himself should be more innovative, more present, more involved. How?
So I'm saying the president presides or leads the country from two perspectives. One, through the formal bureaucratic structures where there's a cabinet which he leads, and then ministers that are in charge of portfolios. And then also, he has the personal style of leadership, which I'm saying he should leverage a lot more by having more personal touch with CEOs of state-owned enterprises, with premiers, as well as with mayors. In terms of that he should play a more enabling role, a role in which, while he still relies on the bureaucracy, is able to pick up a phone, for example, talk to Alan Winde in Cape Town and say, I see you doing some things good. How can we at a national level help you more? After that call, followed by a call to whoever is responsible and must make the Western Cape, overcome certain bottlenecks in order to do what they need to do. And likewise, even with municipalities, if there's a municipality that's not performing, it's one thing to rely on the administrative apparatus of the state which ends with the Minister of Cogta. It's another to pick up the phone and say, Mayor so-and-so, I'm here for you this next 2 days. What is it that government can do in order to make your life better? You will find that a municipality has been wanting to access neighborhood development grant from the National Treasury, and there's just one bottleneck that he can enable. So he should be an enabler of others so that this thing of being in charge is conveyed, while effectively leading the administration properly. Yeah. And then, Francis, I also talk about the role that he needs to play in the renewal of the party, as well as shaping a cabinet that can help him.
So let's go there. We'll talk about renewal, but you also say that one of the things that will make or break his presidency is the quality of leaders that he picks. So that feeds into the urgency to appoint good leaders when there is a cabinet reshuffle. It's widely expected. So what does he have to do there? Many say he's got a much stronger hand. Now that he's got a second victory, he has to use it.
Sure, there are two things that are required from a cabinet leadership perspective. One, it's a sense of urgency for national problems. And for that, you need younger and energetic leaders who are still hungry to make impact from a leadership outcomes point of view. And then secondly, dealing with the dead wood that's there. In terms of the first principle, the first logic, if you like, he has to now remove people that have been there since the 1990s and early 2000s and get young, fresher, people with fresher ideas who are, panicking about the situation we are in, not people who are worried about their pension and everything else. But also, they must also discard this principle of correlation between whether or not somebody is appointed to office and whether they have got an office of significance in the ANC. If there are people who are excellent leaders with potential or have proven themselves in different levels of the state, regardless of where they may be sitting in the party structure, those people need to be given an opportunity to lead. The party can no longer nurse feelings of people who are big wigs at the party level, but have got nothing to offer from a leadership point of view.
Well, now that you bring this up, people with influence in the party, and of course, I want to talk about Gwede Mantashe. I mean, is he part of the solution or part of the problem? He's a big political ally of the president. And in the midst of a crisis, there's been this issue about whether Eskom should fall under public enterprises or minerals and energy, which has been his portfolio. That's what he's wanted. I mean, just the fact that that battle seems to be given priority, given what's happening now, seems problematic. Do you agree?
Sure. So my argument has been that the minister who is in charge of energy cannot be a fanatic of either coal or renewables and an ideologue in terms of that. We need ministers who will treat coal in good faith in terms of, the value that coal still has to play in our energy mix, but also somebody who appreciates the need for a faster transition as long as it was just. Now, people who are panicking about the role Gwede Mantashe is playing are unfairly critical of how he is defending coal. My view is that we can't have a minister or we can't accede to an arrangement in which coal is marginalized in bad faith. And in bad faith means where it can, in fact, be a good solution in the short term, it is marginalized on the basis that there's an ideological pursuit of renewables. So we need somebody who is as excited about the potential of renewable energies and passionately pursues our transition as somebody who is passionate about the entire value chains that are connected to coal, so that at the outcome of the entire leadership process is one, security of supply for South Africa. We cannot transition in a way that makes us vulnerable to supply to unreliable electricity. So we need to transition to greener greener technological power generation solution quickly, as long as that pace did not make us vulnerable to power outages.
All right, so prioritizing practicality, get the job done.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for your analysis, as always, Dr. Ongama Mtimka, political analyst.